So I just keep hearing about mental issues are on the rise, like depression, social anxiety. It seems like the percentage of people that have these issues just keeps going up and up from what I hear. There's crazy things in the US like school shootings or like these public mass shootings, which are insane. And they're just the result of people just having, depression and just mental issues. And I don't want to make this video to complain or to blame things, but I want to make people need to be aware of this, and you need to be able to, you should do things to combat this and to make yourself happier, and you have to do work to keep up your mental health. But the way that society is now with current technology, and I think the more technology advances, it seems like it keeps getting worse and worse for people's mental well-being. If you look at things like social media, it seems like these are absolutely horrible for people. They lower people's self-esteem. It seems like they lower people's attention span. They're going to lower people's ability to just have a calm mind. They're going to lower people's ability to be able to put up with delayed gratification. And I think that actually kind of your ultimate success in things like with pretty much all aspects of life is being able to do delayed gratification. Like the better you are at that, I think that the more stable your mind is going to be, especially in the society we live in today. It's so important that you need to be able to do this because especially in a wealthy country like the US, it's very easy to just kind of sit around and watch Netflix all day or scroll through social media all day, which is horrible for your mind. It's like the worst thing you can do to be happy. And I think one of the main reasons that people keep getting unhappier and unhappier is because of because people seem to be less and less social, and a lot of it is because of technology and the way that the economy is and the way that people work. People are less and less social. I've spent a lot of time in my life being alone, and I think it led to a lot of social problems. I like to think about, I've read and seen videos and stuff about hunter-gatherer tribes. And I believe that, we evolved, our evolutionary, we are still meant to live in a hunter-gatherer tribe. And we're living in these current societies with this crazy technology, and our minds are not meant for this. We are not designed to do this. And it's fucking people up. People are having all these issues and problems. A lot of people, myself included, I think, especially people in bigger cities that are, trying to hustle and make money. I think we go around almost all day with this kind of low level stress and low level anxiety, which I believe is completely unnatural. I don't think we're supposed to have that. And a lot of it's because the way that we're always working towards these goals, materialistic things, and we're just not socializing by ourselves. We're alone a lot of the time. So if you look at the way people live in a hunter-gatherer tribe, they're basically never alone. They are always with friends and family constantly. They sleep in groups of people. They're working together all day. They're always with people. They're never alone. It is completely unnatural, and I think it's terrible for your mind to be alone the way that people are in society now. I just think it's something really, really bad. That's why when you look at the way people are depressed now and lonely and have all these issues, I think it's totally normal. I think that it just makes sense from the way that we live now. And I imagine people in a hunter-gatherer tribe, they probably rest a lot more. They probably sleep better. And I'm sure they're just more relaxed throughout the day. They don't have to make money or go to a job. Their job is just to survive. All they have to do is just find food, hunt, or however they get food, find water, and just build shelter and things like that. And I would bet if you look at hunter-gatherer tribes, because they still exist today, they probably relax and their minds are probably way more calm than people in modern society. And I think from the statistics I've heard, it seems like the more developed the country is, the more mental issues that people have. which is a very, very bad thing. And I think to combat this, first of all, people, like, you have to be very aware of this. You have to be aware of what all this stuff does to your mind. Like, not sleeping enough is horrible for you. There's a book called, written by Matthew Walker. It's called Why We Sleep. Apparently it's the only book that was written about this, but it has all these scientific studies and stuff. And it talks about like why sleep is so important for you and the negative effects that not getting enough sleep can have. And it's really bad. Like, and the causes of not getting enough sleep are all just things in modern society. They're being alone, having artificial lights, having screens, TVs and stuff like this that keeps your brain stimulated like late into the night. It messes with our sleep schedule. We're supposed to go to sleep around when the sun goes down, not at midnight. We're supposed to wake up when the sun comes up. And we're just supposed to be less stressed and have a more calm mind and be able to sleep more. And this stuff is horrible for your mental and physical health, not getting enough sleep. They actually linked it, I believe, to getting cancer, and all these different sorts of diseases were linked to not getting enough sleep. Apparently that was a thing that caused, I think it was a big cause of Alzheimer's, was people who don't get enough sleep. Something happens with the brain and it can make Alzheimer's a lot more likely to happen. They did studies where they're like measurable. There was one where they started school an hour later in this one town, and it was like teenagers, like a high school. People were first starting to drive. And the rate of car accidents lowered by a measurable amount, by like 10 or 20% or something crazy like that. There was another study, or other things they study because we have the daylight savings thing in the US. And when people lost an hour of sleep, the number of like deaths or sicknesses went up or something like that, like heart attacks. And the opposite happened when we gained an hour of sleep. So that is how like detrimental sleep can be to you. And modern society, it destroys our sleep habits, destroys the way we sleep. I definitely have issues sleeping. They're getting better, but I'm not very good at getting enough sleep and just resting. I mean, I kind of have like a constant, bit of anxiety or this want to always work towards something in the future. Definitely alone too much. I think that the way we need to combat this is we need to be with people in person more. You really, really need to focus on socializing more with people in person, in reality, not on a screen. Another thing I found interesting too is that I think people, if you look at people in hunter-gatherer tribes, if you lived in a hunter-gatherer tribe, you'd be constantly surrounded by people of all different ages and both sexes. So you would be constantly interacting with very old people, like grandmas and grandpas, the elderly people in your tribe. You would also be interacting with babies, 10-year-olds, teenagers, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, people of all these different age levels. And I think that as people, we are meant to interact with all different people all the time. The way that I was living the past many years was I just had male roommates who were about the same age as me, and I think this can get worse for males as well. But another thing I think that's very important is physical touch, and I'm sure females have this problem as well with modern society, but I think for males it can kind of be worse, since it's like usually males, we're not supposed to touch each other at all. It's like very taboo. And I've noticed like with dating, one of the things I really crave is just physical touch. It feels like a drug to me. But I think if you're in a normal, like a hunter-gatherer tribe type setting, like we're meant to be in, you're around babies and elder people in both sexes and your parents or whoever, you would naturally just be getting more physical touch. And I think just in a natural environment, they wouldn't be that taboo where like men aren't supposed to touch each other. I don't know, but I'm assuming in a hunter-gatherer tribe that men would be a bit more just physical with each other and actually touch more. I think that physical touch is a major cause, or lack of physical touch can be a major cause of mental issues and depression. So, you know, with all these great things that come out of technology and society, there's a lot of negative things as well. So I really just want people to be aware of this stuff. Don't blame any of it. Don't complain about it. Just be aware of it, and really just, you have to try to socialize more and try to limit being on screens, you know, social media, drugs. All this stuff is going to ruin your life. It's going to make you anxious. It's going to take you out of the natural calm mindset that humans are really supposed to be in.